Sleep would do me good.
Alright, who are these people? Are they Glenfathans? Huh, interesting. Is that folk skeleton? Grisly. Flames that whisper, upper cavern. This is not the clan that attacked Stalwart. According to Uldric, the clan that attacked Stalwart is the Many-Mouthed Wolf.
Well, at least they're not devouring one another.
The petrified skull is as cold and hard as stone. Wax tears dribble from the eye sockets.
What's this? Carrying too much weight. Carrying too much weight.
Rag Ogre Cannoneer says, "Don't overcook it. You mean stop before it turns black. I'm so lucky that you are here to tell me these things." Oh, I sense sarcasm.
Get off!
It's high time for some rest.
The inside of this minecart is caked with blackened grease. It smells of burnt fat.
That's it!
I'll handle this. It's done. I'll have this open in no time. It's done. I only need a minute.
A wide shaft snakes deep underground. The lip is surrounded by scattered refuse and half-gnawed carcasses, but wisps of light wink along the walls below. Yet the chute disappears into darkness. Peering into the depths, all you can see are shattered bones and streaks of frozen sludge stuck in the ice. A rancid odor of rotted meat wafts from the chute. Inspect your surroundings. The ice that varnishes the chute feels slick and smooth. It won't offer any traction. The faint echoes from the depths suggest that it's a long way down. However, you notice a thick stalagmite nearby. It looks sturdy enough to hold a rope and grappling hook. Secure a grappling hook. You secure your hook to a thick, solid-looking stalagmite, giving the rope a tug for good measure. It holds, and you cast the free end into the darkness of the chute. Climb down the rope. You grab the rope and plant your feet as best you can against the slippery ice. You lower yourself slowly, seeking out rough patches and ribs in the marbled and filth-streaked ice. After several minutes, the mouth of the chute disappears above you. The climb tests your patience more than your strength, forcing you to choose your footholds carefully. Until the chute opens into a wide cavern around you, you lower yourself hand over hand, keeping your half-numbed fingers wrapped around the rope. You still can't see the bottom, but as you look around, a glint of light catches your eye. You see a small outcropping clinging to the wall nearby. Skeletal remains cluster on the ledge, and between the bones you detect a glimmer. The edge of the outcropping is just close enough that you might be able to swing toward it. Swing on the rope to make a grab for the ledge. You heave your way from side to side, building momentum. The rope creaks under the increasing stress, but the ledge is almost within reach. You swing once more. As your fingers brush the outcropping, a loud crack resonates down the chute, and the rope gives beneath your weight. You experience a panicked moment of free fall before the rope snags again. While you can't see all the way to the mouth of the chute, you guess that your grappling hook dug its claws into a ridge in the ice just in time. It's holding for now. You tighten your grip about the rope and consider your options as the rope creaks softly overhead. Carefully climb up the rope to secure it once more. You decide to anchor the hook to a new support. From here you can't tell how secure the rope is, but you suspect that any sudden weight change or fumbling about could dislodge the rope and send you crashing down. Who will you send to climb the rope and secure the grappling hook? Climb up to secure the hook yourself. You begin climbing up the rope. It creaks and moans, but your light weight and nimble movements allow you to keep it steady. After a quick ascent, you reach the top of the chute. The top of the stalagmite has broken off, and your grappling hook is barely holding on to the remainder. You ease the hook down and into the thick base of the stalagmite, wedging it firmly into place. With your hook secured, you climb back down to the widest point in the chute where you saw the outcropping. Try to reach the ledge again. Confident that the rope is tightly secured, You pump your legs to get your rope swinging once more. You quickly pick up speed and soon the outcropping looms within reach. At last you seize the edge and pull yourself up, next to the tangled skeletons. A leather bag lies half buried under the bones and something glows within it. You pick it up and stash it away. With your prize secure, you give the rope a gentle tug and climb onto it once more. You have gained an item, Golden Gaze. Climb down the rope. You continue to descend down the chute. The open cavern narrows again to an inclined tunnel. Light from below glazes the eyes in aquamarine hues. You are near the exit. The walls of the chute close around you as you approach the exit. The footholds become slick and sparse once more. Sagani, barely managing to hold onto the rope, wrenches a shoulder before emerging from the tunnel into an open cavern. Durance. Your eyes open to a familiar scene. Durance sits with his staff laid across his lap, a malignant flame sprouting from one end. He is difficult to make out, his features soft, bleeding together, but the staff you can see clearly, its etchings aglow in molten orange, though Durance's face is difficult to distinguish. There is no mistaking the hardened expression, the furrowed brow. His voice hisses and sputters, low and unintelligible, as though having a private argument with the staff. Traces of spittle catch the firelight as they fly from his lips like sparks. And to your surprise, there is a female figure behind him. You are about to call out a warning when you realize it is the Magran statue where you met Durance at the fork. Yet she seemed almost alive for a moment. Her cast shadow seemed as if it was moving, cloaked, then it is still, frozen with the night at its back. Examine the staff. There is something odd about one of the symbols, a circle of 12 smaller circles. One of the small circles glows brightly, but the other 11 give off little light. They flicker and fade like dying embers. Between his hissing curses, Durance lowers his faces close to the staff and blows on the fading circles with panicked rapidity, coaxing light from them, but they do not ignite. One by one the light of the circles dies, and smoke rises from their ashes. Only one still burns. Durance hurls his staff at his feet, and it clatters to the ground. Its edges have become soft, difficult to find. Like its owner, the staff has become a blur. You close your eyes and reopen them, and Durance is there, picking up his staff from the ground. But the blur is gone and you are awake. Find out from Durance what the fading symbols meant. Okay, later. Your robe remains anchored at the top of the chute far above you. Leave. So this is the place where the ogres throw away their trash, or the leftover bones of the things they eat. So ogres eat kith as well. These look like kith skeletons. Could be any of the race of the kith. I saw it, Lagufayth. The creatures that Feara and some other people talked about. The four-armed creature Lagufayth.
What's this?
This is the ogre's cavern, right? So the Lagufayth invaded? Scrying chamber key. This key is the size of a large dagger, and it's unusually heavy. I came across a door that can be only opened with the proper key on the upper level. This might be the key to open it.
What's this? Carrying too much weight.
Hey.
I'm here. I shall. Let's see what we found. Carrying too much weight. Carrying too much weight.
Matron Beregan. I don't wanna... This has to trigger an event. I don't wanna trigger it yet.
Yes? Attack!
Rag Ogre says, dig, 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 digging all day. You don't need to talk to dig, so shut up. What did I just pick up? Garrod. The world around you blurs and fades to black. When your vision returns, you find yourself in a small wooden hut, its interior dimly lit by the embers in a nearby fire pit. You're wearing mail armor several sizes too large for you, and clutched in your hands is the ivory horn of some sea creature, one end sharpened to a point. Garrod says, "What are we going to do, Garrod?" Oh, it's not Garrod, okay. Someone is talking to Garrod. Your sister Kaitha huddles near you, her wide eyes fixated on the hut's door, which has been barred shut. The door shudders and splinters beneath heavy blows, coming from the other side. Enraged growling can be heard just beyond the door. All at once the world halts around you, the pounding stops. Wooden splinters from the door hang suspended in the air. Kaitha no longer trembles, no longer breathes, her eyes fixed in a place like a doll's. The wisp of essence you had followed to this point in the memory has dwindled to little more than a faint trail. However, you find by concentrating on what might have happened next, you are able to sense whether it truly did. Take cover beside the door. No sooner does your mind touch on the possibility than the world lurches back into motion and a thunderous impact strikes the door. The door crashes inward as the young girl screams. A large creature, resembling a bear and taller than any man in your tribe, steps into the hut with a triumphant roar. It doesn't notice you crouched beside the door. Stab the creature from behind. You plunge the horn deep into the creature's back, and it howls and thrashes in agony. Kaitha dodges past the creature and flees the hut, and you're not far behind. The roars of the creature fade. So they are siblings, Garrod and Kaitha. Garrod says, "Is that how it happened? It's been so long, hard to remember." Arismital says, "I had the vision when I picked up a horn, part of a helm, apparently." Wait, who is this Garrod? Why am I speaking to— oh, it's a spirit? Okay, Arismital says, "I had the vision when I picked up a horn, part of a helm, apparently." Garrod says, helm, yes, my helm, I remember it. But who was I? Why haven't I returned to the wheel? Arismital says, "Maybe if you knew who you were, you would know whether it was time to move on." Garrod says, "That helm is all that remains of my old life. If you have found some of me within one piece, perhaps my memories are scattered with the rest of it. Perhaps there is peace to be found in its reassembly." Arismital says, "I'll track down the other parts of your helm." Garrod says, "Thank you, my friend." Find the other pieces of Garrod's helm. Gemstones glitter between the veins of iron ore. They are deeply embedded within the cave wall, and extracting them all intact would require a hammer and chisel, as well as a deft touch. Use a hammer and chisel to carve the gemstones out of the wall. You manage to retrieve all of the gemstones without damaging any of them. Topaz and Veloun, alright.
I'll have this open in no time. It's done.
Krag Ogre says, when do I get a cannon of my own? Go up to the battery and take one, same as the rest of us. So, the rifle that they are using are cannons from Durgan's battery. I see. That's why they're called cannoneer. Ah.
I'll have this open in no time. It's done.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
I'm here.
Oh, back to the upper cavern. All right.
I shall.
Fish, sweat, sulfur.
Matron Beregan. The ogre matron sniffs at the air. Her nostrils as wide and dark as two pistol barrels. That's a big nose hole. Sagani says, don't look at me. I bathed last time we made camp. Wait. Last time we made camp in the lower level of this cavern. So you took a bath without us knowing. Such a waste. I would have taken a peek.
You approach the flames that Whisper clan with the stink of stalwart heavy upon you. You fill our halls with dreams of battle and bloodshed.
A feral grimace parts the matron's teeth. Yet even while her fingers clamp into fists, she watches you carefully. Arismital says, why would I attack you? It was the wolf with many mouths clan that attacked Stalwart.
Matron Forgash's clan. But it's rare that you thin-skinned folk know the difference. And stalwart.
Matron Beregan's fierce gaze relaxes. Her teeth lock back into a snarl. Matron Forgash, from the many-mouthed wolf.
The villagers spy on our camps and spoil our hunts. They pick us off only to retreat behind their walls.
Cold fury rumbles in Matron Beregan's voice. Is that what really happened? I need to hear both sides. But maybe I don't need to. I'm underemployed by Renin Guild. If you are both locked in conflict, well, I have to side with Renin Guild.
Like a crack in the ice, they spread deeper into our lands with each waning moon. But we'll answer them blow for blow.
Matron Beregan punctuates her words by ramming one meaty fist into the other. Arismital says, the villagers seek the White Forge. They're not after you.
Yet they come with weapons in hand, and mark their passage with the blood of my kind.
Wiry black hairs bristle along her arms and neck.
And their strength fails, so they send you to carve a path through the fallen keep.
A shiver runs through her thick flesh. I'm not sure what to say. Arismital says, I can't say that's not true. Maybe because it's true. I don't know how this whole conflict happened in the first place. Arismital says, Durgan's battery unsettles you.
Of course it does!
Matron Beregan's hot breath hisses between bared teeth. The other ogres growl and glare at you. Don't eat me, please. Kana says, a rather familiar reaction, I have to say.
It's the diseased carcass of a ruined civilization. It festers with restless spirits and rotten magics. I see. Ugh.
Matron Beregan roars and clutches her head with wide, long-fingered hands.
Dreams. Hailstones falling like cannonballs from the ramparts. A frozen gale screeching through the tower door.
Her nails plow trenches through her ropey hair and raise a spot of crimson from her scalp. What? Her nails plow trenches through her ropey hair and raise a spot of crimson from her scalp. Oh, so she scratches her head until it gets bloody? Really? Finally, her growls subside and her breathing slows. She looks back at you with bloodshot eyes. She said hailstones falling like cannonballs from the ramparts. A frozen gale screeching through the tower door.
My dreams drove me to found this clan. Now my dreams tell me that Stalwart's ambition will destroy us.
Wait, is that dream showing visions of cannon balls? No. She said hailstones like cannonballs falling. So it's hailstones, not cannonballs. Okay, so hailstones and a gale of cold wind through the door. What is that supposed to mean? Arismital says, Stalwarts barely surviving. The last thing they want is further trouble with you or anyone else.
The dreams show me a heap of rubble atop their village. Yet why would they send you?
Beregan grunts. She slits her eyes, scraping her leathery neck with plate-thick fingernails. Wait, why does option number 1 even exist? How did Arismital knew that members of the Leaden Key crossed the ogre's path? How did Arismital know? I mean, how did Arismital found out? There's no such event or conversations? Well, I remember a conversation with one of the NPC. I forgot which NPC, but in the conversation, he or she just talked about a group of expedition with silver armor or with armor, something like that, and they have cold gaze or something like that. Maybe I'm misremembering certain words. But none in that conversation indicates that they are Leaden Key members. Why even option number 1 exists in this dialogue? I don't understand. Arismetal says, Stalwart has enlisted my aid. I've got to help them find the White Forge.
I've more trust in you than those villagers, or the next pack of fools they call here.
Matron Beregan scratches her head, and the rough sound is like the scraping of an iron file. Alos says, high praise indeed.
I'll give you my blessing, and the remains of the last clods that passed through. Perhaps they found something of value to you.
Clods?
But you must keep Stalwart from harassing us further.
Matron Beregan raises one thick brow to regard you. Harassing you further? In what way? Well, Renin Guild employ me to find Durgan's battery and activate the White Forge. She's not sending me here to fight this Matron Beregan's clan. So Arismetal has no reason to say no deal. I mean, if Arismetal able to convince Stalwart not to harass Matron Beregan's clan, well, next is up to the Stalwart people, what they want to do, how they want to move forward from this agreement. It's no longer Arismetal's concern nor business. His job is only to find Durgan's battery, and that's it. Arismetal says, agreed.
Then take the bounty of your foolish predecessors. May it serve you better.
Matron Beregan's lip twitches. One of the ogres standing near Beregan mutters something in her ear. You have gained an item, Leaden Key Expedition. Okay, so the Leaden Keys were here. But I didn't choose option number 1 because I didn't encounter any conversations or informations saying that the Leaden Key were here. Leaden Key Expedition Journal added to the stash. Woidica Hood. Okay. Speckleback Jerky, Potion of Major.
Under the circumstances, I'll overlook your slaughter of my clan. You shall have the peace of flames that whisper. For now.
Matron Beregan scowls. Oh, so she now knows that Arismetal's group is the one that... Well, to be fair, when Arismetal entered this cave, the ogre's attack unprovoked, so it was self-defense. What should how should I address the matron? Your Majesty? I don't know. But yeah, it was self-defense. Matron Beregan says, you shall have the peace of flames that whisper for now. So she's implying that in the future, the peace might not last. Interesting.
I hope your skills are as fine as your words. It is rare that a matron betrays her dreams.
Okay.
You may wander our camp freely. Leave me. I must rest and hear what the night winds tell. You may wander our camp freely. Leave me. I must rest and hear what the night winds tell.
Matron Beregan's visions guide us. Run along, little mouse, says the crack ogre chanter. Lately, the night winds send evil dreams to our matron. Crack ogre says, we go to the battery for cannons, but only when we must. Now the villagers will leave us, yes?
You may wander our camp freely.
I'll handle this. It's done.
Elisa says, gently with the fingers, they're the best part. I don't want. A slow smile creeps across her face at your approach. The other men and women turn to look at you, their mouths filthy with blood and goblets of flesh. Are these undead? Or vampires? Elisa says, well, hello there, handsome. What brings you to this part of the russet wood? Arismetal asks, why don't you tell me what brings you here? Felisa says, the god of death has willed that we are to remain here as servants of the pallid night. There is a path to the will that some stray from. Patrons of animancy, the very old, the blindly lucky. We set them right, and Berath allows us to consume them, that we might continue his work until it is decided that we too have overstayed. But until then we relish the journey. Okay, so this is the group that Theodore told us about. One of the groups that he wants us to take care of. Arismetal says, I'm looking for an ogre matron. Felisa says, oh how nice. She's staring at you intently now and doesn't appear to have heard your answer. Felisa says, I've never tasted Orlan flesh before. I wonder if boiling you first would get rid of all that fur. Felisa licks her lips. Arismetal says, I don't want to fight you. Felisa says, good, we'll kill you quick. You won't feel a thing. They are cannibales. Well, Kith cannibals, because Kith is comprised of different races, right? So what should I call them? Cross-race cannibal? Because we are fellow Kith. But I don't know what race Felisa is. See? Dargul vampire. So these are vampires and Darguls. Interesting. Look at that corpses. How many people is that they've eaten in this spot? Many of these frozen corpses are missing fingers or have had chunks of flesh cut out from their thighs and torsos.
I shall. What's this?
Tattered map. This yellowed piece of parchment shows a rough drawing of a cluster of trees, but little else. They could be anywhere in the White Marsh. This cracked wooden staff is nearly buried beneath the frozen snow. To your senses, the gathered essence shines like a beacon. Examine the area. This camp is long abandoned, and what remains is buried beneath a layer of ice and snow. The staff seems to be the sole item of note. Touch the broken staff. You reach out with your watcher's senses, and feel this drifting soul surge forward, as if eager to be heard. A feeling of fear and urgency ripples through you. Here, across the distance spanned by time and identity, you know only that you are out of time. What? What does it mean?
Did you think to escape me by climbing a mountain? I would have tracked you across the sea, thief.
Oh, I remember this name, Ninagath. It is one of the archmages that Consehalt mentioned, along with other names like Arkemir, Minoleta, Lengrath, Maura of the Seven Hills, and who else? But I remember that Nina Gauth is one of the name of the Archmages mentioned by Consehalt. Interesting.
Please, Master, have mercy! I kept the grimoire hidden safely away, and I can take you to it!
The book is nothing. If you had studied a little longer, you might have learned that. But no apprentice of mine will steal from me and live.
Wait, no!
So Nina Gauth's apprentice stole a grimoire. Then Nina Gauth killed him. Are all Archmages like Consehalt and Nina Gauth? It seems that these wizards are not stranger to you know, just well, I guess Aris Mittal is the same. They all destroy everything in their path if those things are an obstacle. But I get the impression that wizards and archmages are supposed to be old and wise, but Consehalt and Nina Gauth seems to be not like that. I'm not saying Nina Gauth isn't wise, but I didn't expect that an archmage or a wizard can easily decide to kill someone just like that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but especially if the stolen grimoire is meant for something nefarious. But I just didn't expect it to be this way. Is this the Rashetwood pond that Caxetel talked about with Lafda when we eavesdropped into their conversations? Winter wolf. This wolf lies in the snow, panting with exhaustion and pain. An arrow has pierced its foreleg, jutting gruesomely from the animal's flank. The wolf growls softly as you approach, tail between its legs. Examine the wound. The wolf appears to have crossed a hunter's path. A silver arrow juts from the wolf's right foreleg, embedded a short distance into the limb. Even so, you suspect that trying to remove the arrow without knowledge and care could provoke further injury. Calm the wolf. You approach the wolf slowly, speaking in low and calm tones. Gradually, the wolf stills, though it still gazes up at you fearfully. Try to remove the arrow. Your efforts to calm the wolf seem to have paid off. While the creature remains still as you work, save for the occasional whimper. You carefully pull the arrow free and then bind the wound. Barely an instant after you have finished, the wolf suddenly scrambles to its feet. It regards you for a few long moments, and then sets off through the trees at a limping trot. Well, I hope this wolf will not hunt Kith in the future, especially Kith from Stalwart. I hope so. All right. The teeth marks upon the deer suggest a large predator. That's him, Quetzalcoatl. As you walk toward the frozen pond, a figure appears through the mist. Kneeling down next to a hole on the ice, the figure picks up a large chest and throws it into the water without hesitation. The figure looks around. You glimpse a face you've seen before. Quetzalcoatl, one of Lafda's acolytes, pulls a hood over his head and throws a leather bag over his shoulder. Without looking back, he walks away in the direction of Stalwart village. Okay. Retrieve Okrun's medallion. Cloudy water is visible through a large hole cut through the thick ice. It is larger than a fishing hole, wider than a broad-set aumaua. Stirred, the surface of the water laps against the layered ice. You reach out to test the water. It nips at your fingers with every ripple, quickly numbing your hand after a few seconds. Inspect the area. You carefully inspect your surroundings. Animal tracks are plentiful, but what appear to be the footprints of Keith are also present near the hole. Looking closer into the hole, you notice a jagged ring of frost adhering to its walls. It has been rebroken, perhaps more than once. Look through the water to the bottom of the pond. The water swirl, silty and nearly opaque. Focusing, you catch glimpses of the bottom, gradually making shapes out of the blur. You're convinced that several objects lie at the bottom. Dive in and search the bottom of the pond. The freezing pond, are you sure, Aris? Who will dive in? You dive. Consider your options. Dive in. You dive. You dive into the water. The turbulent darkness engulfs you in an ice-cold embrace that leaches all warmth from your body. Your limbs start to feel numb, but your natural hardiness allows you to swim with ease to the bottom of the pond. Directly below the hole at the very bottom, your hands find heavy objects made of wood and metal. They are chests, small but heavy. You start to bring them up to the surface one by one, struggling to carry their weight through the water. After a heroic effort, you come out of the frozen pond. You let out a few minutes pass to recover from the ordeal, and then you're ready to inspect your findings. The chests are marked with symbols of Ondra. You grab one of them and pry its lid open to reveal its contents. Inside, all you see are rocks. You shake the surprise off and grab another chest. The same results greets you after opening it. More rocks and nothing of value. Something is assuredly amiss. As proof of your findings, you take one of the empty chests with you. Return to Stalwart. Why are the chests contain only rocks? Have we been deceived? Have we been misled? Misdirected by Keksetl?
Let's see what we found.
Don't see many on these roads, and the few we do are hunters, woodcutters, or smugglers.
Defala cocks an eyebrow at you and gives you a half smile. She holds herself with confident grace, a conspicuous holster slung over one hip. Beyond her is a wagon loaded with supplies. Manacles dangle from one end. Arismital asks, "Which are you? Hunter, woodcutter, or smuggler?" The high, clear peals of Defala's laughter ring across a snowy plain.
I suppose you could say I'm a hunter.
Defala's fingers drum the tooled leather of her holster. Sagani says, "I take that to mean all of the above."
I'm looking for a fugitive from Raid Ceres. an indentured servant, and a wanted criminal.
The Fala's smile disappears from her face like a candle flame snuffed out by the wind. She watches you through humorless eyes. Arismetal asks, what exactly is he wanted for?
Besides breaking his indenture, he slew his master's 13-year-old son, killed the boy before he fled.
Well, I don't care who's right and who's wrong. Arismetal doesn't really care about that. His motive is profit, well, sometimes charity, but mostly profit. But even if Aris is not a upstanding individual, most of the time, not always, most of the time, he prefers to honor his deal, his contract. Arismetal came into contact with Ilef first. So in his mind, he's beholden to side with Ilef. But not always. For example, like back in Consejal's tower, even though Thanos was the one that approached Aris, in the end Aris decided to side with the Aumaua apprentice and kill Thanos because he's worried that Thanos' experiments using Kith might one day find Kaitnua's subjects as the victims of Thanos' experiment. Seeing that the Crackhold location is not that far away from Kaitnua. Does that constitute as keeping his word? No, I don't think so. Technically, he didn't give his word, but it was a gentleman's agreement. And yeah, but he acted so because he prioritized his own benefit. He's worried about the denizens of Kaitnua one day becoming the victim of Thanos' experiment, and he sees his subjects as resources. Aris doesn't want his resources to go to be taken away from him. His resources includes his subjects that he rule within Kaitnua's jurisdiction. And in this case, what is the There is no indication that the Fala will pay Aris. And there is no indication that any of them will be a threat to the denizens of Kaitnua. So Aris decided to side with Ilef simply because Ilef was the first that came in contact with Aris regarding this matter. But I'm curious, is it true what the Fala said, that Ilef killed the master's 13-year-old son? I'm curious to know. Arismetal says he belongs in prison, not in a slaver's pen.
His master sees it differently.
The Fala unholsters her pistol.
Shame we couldn't do business.
Sleep would do me good.
What about the horse? Can I take it? I wish I can take it. What's the horse going to do now? Live free? How is it going to survive with no group of other horses? I wish there is a choice to take this horse back to Stalwart.
Hmm?
You spy a tuft of fur caught on the shrub. You recognize the scent of wolf.
It's high time for some rest.
One of the parts of Garroth's helm is somewhere in Stalwart Village. I should ask around about it. Maybe I should ask Renengild.
You have to help me. Ugh, I can't stay like this.
Rayfall sniffs. Arismital says, I think I have what we need. I just need to give these ingredients to Hypheric.
Oh, thank the gods. I'll, wait here and hope nobody comes by to talk.
Theodor nods. Been keeping an eye on town here. You, found anything out near Long Watch for me? He coughs into his hand. Wait, I killed the vampire. The Berath, group. Who should I report it to? Not Theodor? Oh, that was a different thing. The Berath worshipper is near Durgan's battery. Okay.
Any luck with Durgan's battery?
You did right in parlaying with Baragon. Don't know that anyone else here is gonna see it that way, but I thought you should know.
Uldric gives you a thoughtful nod before turning back to the fire.
Any progress with Devala?
Arismital says she said you agreed to your indenture and that you killed a boy in your escape.
And I thought you were going to get rid of Devala, not sell me out to her.
I killed Devala. I left people's arrow to slits. He takes a deep breath but his eyes are still focused on you.
What she said is true. I had a gambling problem when I was younger. I've paid 7 years of my life for it. I won't pay any more. As for the boy, I didn't want to hurt him, but he saw me as I was sneaking out of the stockade.
Ilef's shoulders go limp and his gaze distants at the memory. He shakes his head.
I wish it had gone differently, but I'd do it again. Anything to keep from getting sent back to that place.
Ilef looks at you again, backing away. Arismital says, your crime can go unpunished. You'll do penance in the prison at Kaitnua. Ilef hunches like a cornered animal, baring his teeth in a grimace. His eyes dart around the dingy room and back to you. Finally, he straightens and sighs.
It's not a yoke around my neck, and I suppose it's better than dying in this frozen crater of a town.
Ilef musters the loss of its dignity and prepares for the long march to Kaitnua. This seems like justice from Arismital, but the truth is, Arismital wants to imprison him at Kaitnua, hoping that he can make use of his labor. Arismital plans to release him anyway, after serving some time at Kaitnua. For how long? Obviously not as long as 7 years. That's too long. Maybe a year. Or maybe a month or half a year. Make use of Ilef's labor and keep him fed and clothed and sheltered. Or he could put Ilef in jail for a few days and then release him. Release him and offer him a job. Right? This is only a cover for Arismital to get Ilef to Kaitnua, so he can have extra labor in the castle. What the well holds, a few miles north of Kindlevale, sits a tiny village called White Wreath, so small that it's often missed on maps and tax records. The village has little contact with the rest of the Deadwood. Despite its tiny size, the village has a long history, dating back to its use as a Glenfathan tribal camp over 3 centuries ago. One of the most prominent features of the community is a deep well, the top of which is made from Engwithan Adra. Though not of any religious significance to the Glenfathans, All who see it agree that the well is truly ancient. In recent years, locals have reported strange sounds from within the well. Some describe it as animal sounds, others as odd speaking in a foreign tongue. No one has dared venture down into the well, but villagers are becoming nervous about drawing water from it. Though the community has modest resources at their disposal, they have reached out to nearby lords for assistance. In Stalwart, I encountered an indentured servant who had resorted to lethal measures in order to escape his servitude. I chose to imprison him at Kaidnua rather than leave him to the slave catchers. Yes, the reason why Aris imprisoned him because he wants free labor from Ilef. For how long? I don't know. Only Aris Mittal knows. But the least that Aris could do is to give him proper shelter, food and clothing, and comfort. Maybe let him explore the castle ground, but make sure to tell the guards not to let him exit the castle ground. As for Grammerfell and Nirid, well, maybe Aris will put them to manual labor as well. Again, let them roam free within castle ground, but under the watchful eye of the gods, and not let them leave the castle grounds.
Got rid of that little fella, eh? Take this with my thanks. Didn't need his trouble around here. Anyway, what brings you back?
Aris Mittal says, I found the ingredients you asked for.
Still say a little hardship ought to put some sense into that man. But if you're set on giving him a hand, so be it. Give that here.
Hypheric grunts.
There. Get him to down that and he'll be right as rain. And you can tell him he owes you one. I would have let him stew for at least a year or so.
Aris Mittal says, ugh, I wish I hadn't seen that.
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you? Back to warm your hands, eh? What?
Sagani says, I see a spot by the fire where we can put our feet up. What? Why is she saying this? Suddenly.
Nothing like a pint to take the chill off.
Anta says, you can be sure the village knows what you've done for us. Thank you, we owe you our lives. I wish you luck on your travels, friend.
Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something.
Arismital says, I found this wolf of yours.
I see. Is it done? Is he dead?
Arismital says, I don't appreciate being lied to.
And I regret that it was necessary. No, that I believed it necessary. I thought you might balk at the task if you knew what Suldrun had once been. I would have given my life to see it done. But if the ogres returned and I was killed, Suldrun would remain out there. When you arrived, I came to hope that you might succeed where I failed.
So he knows that the creature, the beast, was his own son. So what makes him turn into a wolf? Is it because of the altar? I remember when Arismital did a deep dive on the soul on the altar. It tells a story of something was taken from the altar. And then when he does a deep dive into the soul of Suldrun, was it Suldrun? I don't really remember. Yeah. It tells a story of how this boy was hunting with his father. And then I think in one of the sentences, it was said that the boy took something, like a wooden carving or something like that, or maybe I misread. But if that's the case, then it's a curse from the altar. Something has been taken, and the taker is Suldrun, perhaps.
You have to understand, to think my son capable of what he did, that was not Suldrun. The beast devoured my boy. And so, you did the right thing.
Arismital asks, wait, your son?
Yes, he was my son. It was a cruel trick of the gods to give him a gift that brought him such joy and then to twist it.
Well, what did Aris ask? Your son? He knew it was his son from the deep dive into his soul earlier in the cave. Arismital says, I'm sorry I couldn't get through to him. Thirish says, he was long gone. If there was any way to get through to him, I would have found it by now. Thirish looks down, jaw tightening.
Difficult as it must have been, you did what you had to. The people of Stalwart are that much safer for it.
Oh yeah, I remember. What about the two hunters? Have they returned? Oh, perhaps the two hunters outside Thirsh's house. Those were the hunters that I rescued from the wolf cave. Huh.
You've brought me what peace the gods will allow me. This served me well in my younger days, and I hope that it will do the same for you. Welcome. Have a seat by the fire if the cold's gotten into your bones.
Yes, this must be the two hunters that Aris rescued back in the wolf cave. Okrun says, I'm hoping you've got good news. Wait, why would I tell him number one? I knew it's empty chests. Lofda says, you return. How may the goddess help you? Arismital says, I found your chests. They were filled only with rocks. Lofda says, I see. No use in keeping this charade any longer, is there? Her group springs into action. The sounds of unsheathing blades fill the room. Ah, of course. Lofda says, but we shouldn't act so rashly. She holds a hand up. The thieves keep their weapons pointed at you. We've been pretending, yes, but is it so different from what Ondra's priests do? Villagers and travelers give us things they want to forget. We'll make them disappear. Isn't that the same thing? We aren't murderers, and we'd prefer to be as far away from this cursed place as we can. Lofda gestures at her accomplices. Why make a bloody mess out of this? I'm willing to help you look the other way. Lofda fixes her eyes on you. Arismital asks, what do you propose? Lofda says, a simple deal. You keep our little secret to yourself, and we share some of our offerings with you before we slip away. Kexectel brought back the dwarf's heirlooms. You can have them too. Well, this is the rational option. However, I'm worried. Won't Arismital receive the consequences from Ondra, knowing that these people are pretending to be Ondra's priests, and yet Aris does nothing about it? But it's not as if Aris worships Ondra. I don't know what god or goddess that Aris serves. But, well, Aris did do the biddings of Weil once before by hiding the scroll, the stolen scroll, in the Black Meadow under one of the dragon's skeleton. So, if Ondras get angry at Aris for this, will Aris be able to seek protection from Weil? I'm not sure. But so far, from what I understand, in this universe, the gods and goddesses give favors, I think, but there is no mention of consequences. It's either receive favor or not receiving favor at all. So perhaps by agreeing with Lofda's proposal, Aris won't receive Ondra's favor, but also not receiving Ondra's wrath. Does that make sense? Within the rules of this universe? I don't know, I'm not sure. Arismital says, I agree. The heirlooms, something extra, and you're free to go. Lofda says, smart. Most of the gifts the goddess receives are worth little, sadly, but we do manage to coax out more worthy offerings from her followers sometimes. Lofda says, here's one. Lofda pulls a pouch from behind the altar to Ondra and tosses it to you. The rest in the large chest. She turns to her accomplices and nods. They put their weapons away and begin to gather their belongings. You have gained 6,000 copper. The thieves pack for the road, form a single line like priests on a pilgrimage. Lofda cracks the door open and peeks outside. She signals the thieves to start their escape and gives you one last glance. Lofda says, this time we move on. The door closes behind her. Okrun says, I'm hoping you've got good news. Arismital says, I know where the gift bearer cast your heirlooms away. Okrun says, did you find them? What of the medallion? Arismital says, I have your medallion. Okrun says, aye, let's see it. The dwarf draws a wide smile under his bristly beard. Arismital says, here it is. Okrun takes the medallion gingerly in his palms, taking care not to smudge it with his dirty fingertips. Okrun says, yes, it's her medallion. He smiles and manages to pull his attention back to you. Okrun says, you've done good here today, I swear. If I had a kingdom's treasure to give you in return. Arismital says, I also found your armor. Okrun says, I don't need it. Don't know what I'd do with it. He nods. Keep it. More luck to you. Okrun turns around and walks away, looking not at the path ahead, but at the precious heirloom clenched in his hands. Even so, The stride of his short legs seemed filled with confidence. I forgot to examine the heirloom. Okrun says this is hers or belonged to hers, or something like that. Is he referring to his mother, his sister, his wife? Now I'm curious, dang it. Well, it only takes 24 hours from Stalwart to Kainua. I guess it's not really that far. I've traveled much farther, within Deerwood proper. 2 days, and this one only takes 24 hours, so I guess it's not that far away from Kainua. So now I understand why Renengild sent...
High time for some rest.
So now
Amazing. You could fit a whole village in here.
So now I understand why Renengild sent a help request to Kainua, because it only takes 1 day travel. Not really that far away, compared to the routes I've taken before, within Deerwood. Berold, an Idiran dignitary, has arrived at the stronghold. He requests your aid with an upcoming meeting with representatives of the Fisher Crane tribe near the Thane Bog. He was nearly set upon by brigands on the road, but your patrols intervened.
Greetings.
Warden Firgen nods at you. Good hunting, I hope. What can I do for you? Arismital says Daroth Grimald won't be a problem anymore. Firgen says, well done. You've outdone the Ducal Palace. Mine? That's not terribly difficult. Anyway, here's your pay. Anything else? Arismital says, I've brought the head of Glasdial, the troll. Warden Firgen says, one nasty troll's head for a nasty little alchemist. I'll let him know the job's done. In the meantime, here's your bounty. Arismital says, I'm here for the bounty on Roska. Warden Firgen says, you may have averted another war of the Black Trees, eh? Here's the coin they were offering. Arismital says, I've got Thorfinn's head. Firgen says, seems like crossing the nights tends to lead to a bad end. They pay well enough anyway. Here you are. What are the most recent bounties? Do you have any more? Firgen browses through a stack of parchment. Claimed. Ah, here we are, let me see. There's some ranger causing trouble out in the wilds. Then there's Galen Dalgard, slaver. Not exactly popular around here. Then there's some kind of cult. Looks like. And here's one I haven't seen in a while. Captain Muarumi, the pirate. Arismital says, I'll go after this ranger. Firgen says, the ranger Foemina has been waging a one-woman campaign of terror against travelers passing through wooded plains. Survivors report that she feeds her victims to the pack of wild animals that travel with her. A lot of folks would be glad to hear she's been dealt with. So, a robber? A highwayman? This ranger is. Arismital says, tell me about Galen Dalgard. Firgen says, this one's got teeth. Galen Dalgard the slaver. He and his friends have been spotted at Mudmud Bridge. None of the local authorities are willing to touch him because he's got powerful connection back in Idir. But some nameless soul is willing to put coin down to see Galen breathes his last. Says it's personal. Wait, he's at Mudmud Bridge? So right outside Defiance Bay. The local authorities doesn't dare to touch him, meaning the Crucible Knights don't dare to touch him because he's got connection with Idir. So what? Are the Crucible Knights so weak, as Dirwood's military, that they're afraid of this connection back in Idir? Perhaps they're worried of a political fallout. Maybe this Galen Dalgard has a connection to a influential lord or a influential politician. Big name politician, big name lord. Maybe they're worried that it might cause a political fallout between Dirwood and Idir. Perhaps. Arismital asks, what's this about a cult? Firgen says, I'm not sure what to make of this one. Something about a murderous cult of druids, led by Menpeugra. The creature goes by Devwen, and it looks like she and her followers have set up a cave in the North Weald. Murderous cult, alright. Arismital says, I'll hunt down this pirate. Firgen says, Captain Muarumi mainly goes after Violian vessels, and his crew just made landfall at Unslog's Compass. Not sure how long he's planning on staying, but this is your chance to take him down before he sets sail again. Alright.
How do you do?
Venturing into the depths of the White Wreath Well, Nasu discovers that while the foundations of the well were made of the living Adra, the souls of the sons were wicks that had been dropped into the well by their mothers. In total, a dozen women from White Wreath and the surrounding woods had dropped their children into the well after they learned they would turn into wicks. Some had died, but many survived the fall, living on small rodents and other critters that wandered the ruined Angwithan tunnels under the well. Nasu was forced to fight the aggressive wicks, but eventually emerged and told the village what had transpired. Some of the mothers confessed what they had done immediately. Others fled the village. In the end, no one had the desire to punish anyone for what had happened. Wait, wicks? Is it also the result of the White One's legacy? Wicked? Children turning into wicked? Is it also connected to the White One's legacy? Are Wicts and Hollowborns different or the same? Swaddling sheet. This dingy stained cloak was once used as a large swaddling sheet for an unfortunate Hollowborn child that was dropped into the White Wreath village well. As it sat at the bottom of the well among the foundations of living Adra and a clan of Wicts, it acquired strange powers. Ah yes, so Hollowborn and Wicts are the same. Maybe they are born as Hollowborn, and then they grew up to become Wicts. Perhaps.
Last thing the Deerwood needs is another foreign colony.
Oh, an elf. Berold says, "Greetings, Lord Arismital. My name is Berold. If you have the time, I have an urgent matter I'd like to discuss." Arismital says, "Very well, let's hear it." You call for your allies and prepare to hear the petition. Berold says, "I have been tasked with meeting with representatives from the Fisher Crane tribe near Thane Bog. It is my hope to come to peaceful terms. Unfortunately, I haven't had much practice with the Glanfathan language, and the Fisher Crane are by nature very reclusive. I fear that the circumstances are ripe for a misunderstanding. You yourself, I hear, have had some dealings with the Glanfathans. I would welcome any assistance or advice you may offer." Arismital says, "I'll see to it you have a safe passage through Glanfath." Berold says, "Not that I have any doubt of your considerable resources, but how, my lord?" "On second thought, perhaps not," says Aris. Arismital says, "I can't spare any resources, but I do have some traveling advice." Berold says, "It is much appreciated all the same." Berold eyes you expectantly. Arismital says, "On second thought, perhaps not." "I'll see to it you have safe passage through Glanfath." Honest Metal give 2000 CPs, coin, to purchase guides and bribes where necessary. Honest Metal hopes that by helping Berold, he can nurture a good relation with Aidir. Hopefully, yeah. Berold says, "This is very generous, my lord. Thank you. I will put this to good use. Yes, yes, yes. Make sure you tell Aidir. Make sure you tell the people of Aidir or who you're dealing with that I'm helping you. I wish we can have a mutual cooperation, Kait Nua and Aidir. Assuming that Dirwood doesn't intervene. But yeah,